I have oftentimes heard Dwight Chattu said that when Darren Sammy is the coach of a team, the team is his team, implying that he expects his captains to do as he says. Many persons have argued that the reason why Roston Powell was removed from the position of captaincy for the T20 team is because he was not a do as I say person, and he also pushed back at times to the things that Darren Sammy initiated, because he has his own opinions and have his own ways of doing things. And apparently, both of them were not compatible. So Sammy, as the head, has to get rid of Powell. Many believe that the reason why he has not gone with someone like Alzarri Joseph for the test captain is because he simply cannot rule Alzarri Joseph. It's also believed that's the reason why you have not installed Kemar Roach as an interim captain, because Kemar Roach will not take everything that Darren Sammy said. It is believed that it's for these reasons why you have gone with someone who is averaging less than 17 in his last 10 test matches and cannot buy a wicket for less than 100 deliveries on average. It is also believed that is because Hope is also a yes man, why he has gone with Hope for the ODI captaincy. Hello everyone, and welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I thank you for being here, and I appreciate your company this morning. Yesterday, Roston Chase, the new West Indies Test captain, was formally introduced to the media. At that media briefing, he spoke on the issues surrounding West Indies captaincy. Sammy also spoke. The director of cricket also spoke. I also was able to ask one question. I was allowed to ask more than one. But the answer that I got, it peeved me, because they're telling me that something was in the press conference, in the press release, that was not there. I have placed the link to that press release in the video description. And you can go ahead and read that press release at the end of the show. Also, at the end of the show, I'll be playing a very interesting clip from Shea Hope. Earlier this morning, West Indies had a press conference before the test match, before the one-day international match tomorrow. Present at that press conference was Shea Hope. He answered a number of questions. One in particular that I found very interesting. He was asked, will he play test cricket again? Shea Hope's answer will be at the end of the show. Now, let's go to that press conference, and I have 4 clippings that I'll play from that press conference for you. The first one was Roston Chase giving his opening comment.
It's something that I never really thought about, being a young man coming into West Indies cricket. I always just wanted to play cricket for the West Indies and do well. But after Darren called me and asked me about taking up the role, if I would be interested, it was a bit shocking at first, seeing that I was, out of the test arena for a couple of years.
So even Roston Chase, it was shocking too. He said, Darren Sammy called me and asked me if I'd want to captain the West Indies team. And Roston Chase was shocked, because he himself said, I was out of the test arena for a couple of years, And I knew that in my last 10 test matches, I averaged less than 17. He never said that, but I'm just putting it in. But those were the sort of things that let him be shocked. Let us continue to listen to what Chase has to say.
But I told him it's something that I would think about, and I sat down and I thought about it for about a week. I had conversation with my dad as well, who's really been the driving force of my cricketing career, and he told me that it's not an easy job, but firstly, Test cricket in the whole is not a easy task. So he said not to really worry about the pressures and stuff, that he know that I usually handle pressure very well. And throughout my cricketing career, I had some hard challenges before me, and I've always dealt with them well. So he think that I would be suitable for the job. So after that week, I got back to Darren and told him, yes, I'll be interested. And then obviously,
you hear that? At no point at all in that clipping from Roston Chase did I heard him mention anything about the process of becoming Test captain. Maybe I'm wrong here. And if I'm wrong, I would love someone to point it out to me. And you are aware that a number of persons believe that the process was always screwed towards Roston Chase. You would have heard that a number of times. You would have heard that feedback. You would have heard a number of persons saying it. I don't want to believe that, because I have a lot of faith in Cricket West Indies. I respect Mile Bascom a lot, and overall I have a lot of faith in Cricket West Indies. So I don't want to think that, for want of a better word, the process was rigged, in quotation mark, and I'm challenged to find a more smoother word than rigged. So don't interpret it as being harsh in what I'm saying. But was it a case that, although we hear about this granular process, and yesterday at that press conference, Mile Bascom stated that Chase got the highest mark and Warwican got the second highest mark, and they went with both persons. And you know that we heard leaks that it was Warwican who have gotten the highest mark. We did heard those leaks. But it appears to me that Darren Sammy always want Roston Chase, because there's nowhere in that you heard Chase saying that about the process. He said, Sammy called me. I was shocked. I was out of cricket, so I was shocked. I asked my father about it, and we had a discussion, and after a week, I got back to Darren Sammy. And here I am now, being the West Indies captain. So, was it that Darren Sammy always want Chase to be the captain? And as some conspiratory theories suggesting that it was always streamlined for Chase to be the captain. Very interesting take. I don't know what you think. There's a live poll that is going on now in the live chat, in which I asked whose career the appointment of Chase affect the most. At the last time I checked, 50% of you thought that it was Kevin Sinclair. Very interesting. I'd encourage you to go onto that poll and make your voice be heard. But it's very interesting what Roston Chase had to say. Well, the next clip
it's something that I never really thought about, being a young man coming into West Indies cricket. I always just wanted to play cricket for the West Indies and do well. But after Darren called me and asked me about taking up the role, if I would be interested, it was a bit shocking at first, seeing that I was, out of the Test arena for a couple of years. But I told him it's something that I would think about, and I sat down and I thought about it for about a week. I had conversation with my dad as well, who's really been the driving force of my cricketing career, and he told me that it's not an easy job, but firstly,
Sorry about that. I was there playing back the same clip. So this is the next clip that I want to play. And here's now Darren Sammy answering the question about Shea Hope declining the opportunity to be West Indies Test captain, because as you would have heard, Shea Hope declined the opportunity to be West Indies Test captain. And one of the questions that persons have been asking is that would Shea Hope would have gone through this process? And was it a case that after Shea Hope declined the offer of being West Indies captain, was it then that this process it materialized? The general belief is that because Shea Hope declined the captaincy, the next person that Darren Sammy wanted to be the captaincy was Roston Chase. And so this process that we are hearing about was really streamlined for Roston Chase to become captaincy. But here is Darren Sammy reply to the question about Shea Hope.
always challenged me on my feelings, so I'm looking forward to the challenge.
To answer your question, Philip, obviously she has been, one of the leaders for us, but you have to understand, the mental challenges that comes with captaining the West Indies team, and I respected the conversation that we had. I respected the way he felt about leadership, and and again, my mother always say everything in life happens for a great reason. So hopefully Roston is the great reason that comes out of all of this, and
so basically he was just and I play that because I don't know if you got any information from it. But basically, when the question was asked to me, the head coach was dodging the real question. And I don't think that he really gave an explanation and say why. What's the reason why Shea Hope decided, apart from the fact that he said that Shea Hope looks at the workload of the three captaincy. Who looks at that? Who looks at that? And so I really, for me, what he said, if you get anything from what Darren Sammy there that really inspired your thought process, please tell me, because I never got anything from what he said. Now, I think because I'm alone here today and I'm doing these interviews and I'm playing back these clips, I can take your comments in between the clips. There are two more clips before I come to Shea Hope clips. And this third clips is going to be very interesting. This one you're going to see on the screen because it is much clearer than the previous two. I didn't show the previous two because they were not that clear. So Roger Hines, good morning. Patrick Lambert, good morning. Keith Aaron, good morning. Good morning to everyone. I appreciate your company here. I appreciate it. Keith Aaron, good morning. Carlton and Mistress Brown, appreciate you. Frank Quamine is saying, the way Cricket West Indies operate, there's always going to be a negative speculation. And, Frank Quamine, and I said it on Sunday, that you have a process of selecting your captain. In my thoughts, I think that's a good thing. I always believe if you can come up with an objective way to reach your objective, to make a selection like these, it is always best for the community in which you serve. However, I just think Cricket West Indies should go a step further and release those instruments that they use for the assessment. That's all I'm saying. Release the instrument. Let us see the items on those instruments and the weight of the marks that you gave to each item. I really love to see that. So I just think that they should just go out and just do it, and things like these will prevent the speculation. But as I said, I want to applaud West Indies. Whether we believe that the process was streamlined for Chase to be captain or not, the fact that they implement a process, which I want to believe that there was a certain level of objectivity in that process. I congratulate them for that. But I really want them to go the next step and just release the instrument that was used for the grade. What are your thoughts on the Silva exclusion from the A team? Very, very mysterious, very, very surprising. Is it that they have now seen the Silva as purely a batsman? And I hope Sheldon Smith is listening and will join us, because I really want to hear Sheldon Smith's thoughts on this, because the people of Trinidad always believed that Da Silva was the next West Indies captain. And to see him lost his place in Pakistan, he came back to the region, made a lot of runs, but Imlak also made a lot of runs. I think Cricket West Indies have now looked past Da Silva as a potential captain. You would have heard on Sunday that I said that the man who I would have given the captaincy would have been Alzarri Joseph. But if I'm not giving Alzarri Joseph the captaincy, I would have given it to Roach on an interim basis and have Imlak as his deputy to learn on the job. You would have heard me say that on Sunday. And I think now for a long time, Cricket West Indies was preparing Da Silva to be the next Test captain. But he have lost his place and there's a new coach installed. And I don't think that Sammy had that same vision. That's not where Sammy need to go. And so Da Silva is no more considered as a captain. And so as long as Darren Sammy is the coach of the West Indies cricket team, Da Silva will not be as a captain. And so he never see the need to include him in the A team as captain. And he didn't want Da Silva to be there if he's not captaining. However, Da Silva may well play in the Test team as a batsman. He may well do so, Travis Brathwaite. But to cut a long answer short, Travis Brathwaite, it is clear that Darren Sammy doesn't see Da Silva as a captain for the West Indies Test team. Carlton, soon a process for you and West Indies cricket commentators. Mark my words. All right, Keith Aaron, looking forward to it. Hope you're right. But they're not going to want me there, because they're not going to be able to control me, because I will still speak my mind. I will always speak my mind in a respectful way. It is obvious that Sammy always wanted Chase to be the captain of West Indies cricket team, said Patrick Lambert. Sheldon, good to see you, Sheldon Smith. Good morning. I hope you have some words for us. My friend Clive Smith, how you doing? I don't like where West Indies cricket is going. Clive Samuels, my good friend. Are you in Jamaica or are you in New York, Clive Samuels? Good to have you here, man. Hopefully, if you're in Jamaica, I'll see you later. You know where we'll meet up later if you're in Jamaica. Yes, man, I'm going to that spot today. Yes. All right, let's hear now what Chase had to say. And this is very interesting. And I want you to look at Darren Sammy's reaction when Chase called Rovman Powell name. Look at this.
But as I said, Test cricket was always my first love. And then, as I said earlier, I always was thinking about coming back and playing my 50th Test. So I thought about it, and I know it's going to be challenging, but as I said, my life was always a challenging one in terms of my cricketing career. So I look forward to facing the challenge. And I mean, we already close to the bottom, so the only way we can go from there is up. And something that really encouraged me to looking back at the T20 side when I first came into it with Rodman Powell taking up the mantle as the captain, we were in a similar position.
Do you saw that? As soon as Roston Chase called Rodman Powell's name, Darren Sammy shook it out of his head. You saw that? Look again. As soon as he called his name. Let's go again.
As the captain, we were in a similar position, and he found a way to lead the...
Yeah. Did you saw that? As soon as the man called Rodman Powell's name, Darren Sammy, it's like something hitting his head, and it is leading people to believe that the reason why Powell is no longer the captain of the T20 team is that these two definitely never see eye to eye. I want you to look at that again. Look at Darren Sammy.
Taking up the mantle as the captain, we were in a similar position, and he found a way to lead the guys into coming up to, I think, number 3 or number 4 in the world. So it just shows that anything is possible once you believe and have a positive attitude in whatever you're doing. So that's just the road that I'm looking to go down as well. So I've just had a positive outlook about it and was ready to accept the challenge. So that's why I really took the job.
Yeah, so there it was. So really, Roston Chase, he was asked how difficult a task he think that captain in the West Indies team will be, and he draw on the inferences of Rodman Powell taking over the team that was in 8 or 9 position. I don't remember right now, and bring it up to as far as number 3 in the T20 ranking. And he's saying that he looks back at that. And although West Indies is towards the bottom of the World Test Championship ranking or the ICC test table, he's looking at what Rodman Powell did, and is hoping that the same thing can happen to the test team where we go up to 3rd or 4th. And he sets that goal for himself, and it's good that he can look back at that and see that it is a possibility that the test team can reach there. And as West Indian supporters, we all hope and we all dream and hope that we can one day in the very near future, probably as near as 2027 or 2029, the West Indies test team will be playing in the World Test Championship final. We dream for that. We want to go to Lords and watch the West Indies test team play. You can imagine if the West Indies test team is playing at Lords, I'll definitely be there in the World Test Championship final. So he cited Powell, but what I'm telling you the truth, I was, whether rightly or wrongly, have to be myself, and I can only be myself. And I was very amused, and I laughed a lot when I saw Sammy's reaction. It's like when Chase called Powell's name, it's like he has to shake it out of his head. You know, like he said, what you doing? You know, so that little thing just amused me a little. So let me come back to your comment, because I'm coming to your comments after every clip. So, okay, Clive, you are in New York. Thank you, man. I try my best, you know, Clive. I speak how I see it, and I try my best to do it in a way where persons don't think I'm disrespectful for them, towards them, because that's not my intention. My intention is to put forward things in the way I see it. And I found that a number of times the way that I put forward things, how I see it, how I saw it, a number of persons were also seeing it that way. And for me to put it out in the public now, it then started a discussion, and the end result, more time than not, is for the benefit of West Indies cricket. Because most of the things that we want to do is to really start a discussion and hope that we'll come to an amicable conclusion. Will Simmons is saying, I do not believe there was any process. It was just who Sammy wanted. If there was a process as they describe it, Chase would not have been so surprised. I think what he was surprised about, to be fair, or maybe I'm misinterpreting you, he was surprised that he was called and asked if he wants to be West Indies captain. So, well, Wilsonmans, I take your point. Sammy Twitch said, Frank, yeah, he did twitch, like he was not happy at all that Chase called Rothman Powell. That's my interpretation. Did you see that? I'm very much surprised that Da Silva was left out, and I would not be shocked if he doesn't make the final 11. I think that Da Silva will be in the test squad. I definitely think that he'll be in the test squad. You know, those are my views, that he will be in the test squad. Morning, Atina. Good to have you here. This final clip, is this the clip that is this the clip that Sammy spoke briefly about Joel Anjo? But let's hear it.
Listed, and you have test experience, leadership qualities, captaincy credentials, and you said the final recommendation was based on weighted scoring system across 6 key areas: leadership, respect within the team, cricket knowledge, personal conduct, media and communication skills, and psychometric evaluation.
Listen to the question now that I'm going to ask Mile Bascom. And please tell me if Mile Bascom answer my question. Because as you heard there, I was listing the criteria on which the persons were assessed. The first I did was to list the 3 main areas which they used to shortlist these players. And those areas, let me tell you, this is a question that I asked him. The players were shortlisted based on 3 areas: test experience, leadership qualities, and captaincy credentials. Those were the 3 areas they cited for the short list of 6 persons. So when they were looking for those 6 persons to be interviewed, these are the 3 areas: test experience, leadership qualities, and captaincy credentials. That is according to the press release that Cricket West Indies sent out. I didn't make up those. The press release went on further to say each candidate went through a detailed assessment process. The final recommendation was based on a weighted scoring system across 6 key areas. Those 6 areas were leadership, respect within the team, cricket knowledge, personal conduct, media and communication skills, and psychometric evaluation. Those were the 6 areas. This is the question that I'm now asking Mile Bascom. And I told you that the press release is in the video description. There's a link there. Click on the link and you can read the entire press release yourself and tell me if what I'm asking Mile Bascom was there. So listen to the question.
Test experience, cricket knowledge, personal conduct, media and communication skills, and psychometric evaluation. Why wasn't performance in Test cricket included among those criteria?
Well, as I said, initially, as part of the shortlisting process, we considered performance in Test cricket. So I think.
Sorry, you heard what he said? He said that's part of the initial process they considered performance in Test cricket. That's what Miles Bascom said. Nowhere, though, in the Cricket West Indies press release it said that. Nowhere. So why did you leave off such an important criterion in your press release? That's a question. Listen to Bascom.
In Test cricket. So I think that was accounted for. What we really wanted to get beyond that was a sense of what each candidate brings as a leader, and how well they are going to be able to implement a lot of the plans that we have going forward in Test cricket. Additionally, I think that you mentioned respect of the team. I don't know if that is what you got from team standing, but the team standing component speaks to their ability also.
No, Mr. Miles Bascom, and Mr. Miles Bascom is one who has been on the show before, so I speak with respect. There was nothing in the press release that spoke about team standing. And as I said, the link is in the video description. You may read that press release yourself. Nothing in it spoke about team standing or performance in Test cricket. I read what the press conference said, what the press release said, Mr. Bascom. No disrespect to you, sir, but what you are saying is not aligning with the press release, sir. It doesn't align with the press release.
It speaks to the ability to command the place in the team, which their performance in Test cricket has a huge bearing on whether or not they are able to command the place in the team.
Now, I disagree that what Mr. Bascom said in response to the question that I asked him, that it's aligned with what is in the press release. If that was there, I would have not have asked him. I would have asked a different question. I would have asked about the statistics. I had a question to ask Chase at that press conference, and I didn't bother to ask Chase. I leave it because I was very disappointed with the response that Mr. Bascom gave me, because what he was claiming was not compatible with the press release. I am sorry. You read it yourself, interpret it, and see if I am wrong. But I'm not happy. Now, Ash one is saying, Mr. Camber is saying, I don't have a problem with Chase as captain. As you saw in Sunday show, over 40%, I think it was 41 or 42% of the persons in the live poll do not have an issue with Chase being the captain. Another 15% understand. I think 45% don't agree with him being the captain. So it's 50-50. It's split, right? Because those persons who said they understand, maybe yes, they understand, but they don't necessarily agree. So let's say it's split. So, Mr. Camber, I don't think the big issue is with Chase being the captain I don't think that is a big issue. The big issue that I think persons are having is that they think that we are being misled. I think that is more of the issue. The way he was appointed and the fact that he has not played Test cricket for 2 years, and that the last 10 Test matches he played, he averages less than 70 in 16.95. He got 14 wickets in those last 10 Test matches, and he was taking 105 deliveries on average to get a wicket. Those numbers doesn't command a place in the West Indies Test team. They don't. They don't. And so persons are saying that outcomes is a captain. Now, I cited 2 examples on Sunday of captains whose performance was below average and they were appointed test captain. But those 2 persons that I cited, they were acceptable in their country as being very, very good captains and would have seen that would have probably made a difference. Well, in the case of Lee German, it never worked out for New Zealand. But in the case of Mike Beerley, it worked out for England. And many persons see Mike Beerley today, especially the English, as one of the greatest captains of all times, although his average was 22.88. Top of the morning to you, Mr. Casanova. Good morning. Patrick Lambert, I honestly don't believe that Powell was given a rough deal because he didn't perform too. I honestly believe that Powell was given a rough deal because he didn't perform too badly. I don't say much about Powell for Sammy to fire Powell. But Powell's performance as a batsman in T20 cricket improved. And I don't have the numbers in my head right now, but if someone like Michael Douglas is here, he can tell me. Was Powell either the first or second leading West Indies batsman in T20 cricket last year? He's either first or second. I know that in his last 4 or 5 matches, he scored something like 4 offs. Not that like he top scored in 4 of the last 5 innings that he played for West Indies in T20 cricket. All those can be checked. So the decision to fire Powell was really a clash of personality. No one can tell me anything different, that it wasn't a clash of personality. And Sammy's reaction when Chase brought up Powell's name, wow, was priceless. Eastman is saying, Wilson, if Chase was already penciled in for test captaincy role, why would he be surprised? I don't know. I don't understand. They wanted a captain that will jump when they say jump, like Pet. Mr. Casanova one. That's what Dwight Chateau have been saying, that they really wanted a captain that really and truly, Sammy is the captain on the field. Carlton, is Sammy a political leader with a cricket cabinet? When he speaks, no dog bark. Very interesting. Leroy George said, if Warkan was not picked as vice captain, West Indies would have risked losing him to Premier League teams like those in IPL. Leroy George, Warkan will never play in IPL. I can tell you that. He will never play in IPL. Good afternoon, Sherwin. Asked him about Joshua Da Silva and Kevin Sinclair. I can't. That was from yesterday, Sherwin. You should have put in your questions I could have asked. When Shea Up declined the offer, Cricket West Indies was left scrambling. That's a fair point, Shango. That's a fair point. You believe that my Bascom is a joke, Sherwin? You see, all right. Should I invite Mile Bascom back on the show? He has promised that he will come once invited. I'm going to invite him, but all these questions that you have for Mile Bascom, please, when I invite him back on the show, you need to ask them. Leroy George is saying performance is very overrated as a factor in choosing a captain. The main factor in his ability to pick the right bowlers and set the right field placement. Leroy George, I can tell you, you're from Barbados, and I can tell you that if you said that to 1 million persons, 100 persons, 1 million persons, if you said that to 1 million persons living outside of Barbados, they won't agree with you. And I'm telling you also, Leroy George, if Chase was not the captain, well, not say Chase, if it was not a Barbadian was the captain, you would not have made that comment. You would not have made that comment. I have no doubt that Silva will be in the test squad, said Frank Quamine. However, he needs to be playing more intensive cricket. With this current form, he needs these type of games so he remains match ready. A very important point, Frank Quamine. You would have heard, was it Sammy or Bascom, but one of them had said that this A-team tour by South Africa is really preparation for the test series. And you'll see a large number of persons who are going to play in the test series play in these A-teams match in preparation for that test series. It's very, very interesting. I know I said earlier that Silva would be in the test squad. I said it earlier, but on second thought, remembering that was said by either Bascom or Sammy, that these 18s match against Australia is really preparation for the test. These 18s matches against South Africa is really preparation for the test series against Australia. It's very interesting, and it's becoming more and more curious why Da Silva was left out. You know, Cricket West Indies keep dancing around the fire, said Atina. Patrick Lambert, I wish the team well, because if they fail to shine, the armor will fall heavily on both Sammy and Chase. You know, I always said it, Patrick Lambert. Frank Quamine. No, I don't want to go there, Sherwin. Stats show that Joshua is tied for the second best wicketkeeper in Test cricket. Thank you, Sherwin. But I don't want to go there, Sherwin, no, man. We don't. Sherwin, don't. That comment you post, that have hint of racism. I have to delete it, Sherwin. So that comment, we can't do that. We can't. We are not going to back racism here. Joshua Da Silva will always be available since he is not a good Premier League perspective. The captain and vice captain position should be used in part to secure players we can otherwise lose. Okay, that's Leroy George's opinion, and we welcome all your opinion. So Leroy George is saying that he's not from Barbados, he's from Trinidad. Okay, Leroy George. Okay, sir. Okay. My apology for thinking that you are from Barbados. But I don't understand the comment though, Leroy George. Mikel saying, exactly why was he left out of the A-team squad? And Christopher Bristol is saying, big up King Brown. Big up my friend Christopher Bristol. Welcome to the show. Please remember to slash a like on the video and click on that subscribe button. Now let's hear what Shea Hope has to say when he was asked about whether he will play Test cricket again or not. So this is going to be very, very interesting what Shea Hope has to say when he was asked about whether he will play Test cricket again or not. It's going to be very interesting. I want you to hear what Shea Hope...
close cricket. If the opportunity arises again, I'll be happy to take it.
So let's see. I'm coming to that. There's some issues there why that person name is on the screen, and it's I don't like that. So listen to what Shea Hope said now. This is what Shea Hope said when he was asked about playing Test cricket.
I'm certainly looking forward to playing some white close cricket. If the opportunity arises again, I'll be happy to take it.
Let me go ahead again.
Certainly looking forward to playing some white close cricket. If the opportunity arises again, I'll be happy to take it.
Shea Hope is the very best thing, When I heard that comment this morning, I'm telling you, he fooled me also. And I hope he didn't fool you. He was very careful to say white close cricket. He was very careful not to say test cricket. Am I reading too much into this? But my interpretation of what Shea Hope said just now, and I hope later today I will have a clipping of you seeing him saying it. I don't know why I never got that clipping. You know, the screen was black with that person name. He, in my opinion, was not talking about test cricket, West Indies test cricket. He was talking about county cricket. If he gets an opportunity to go and play some county cricket, he will go and play it. That's my interpretation of it. Because he was very careful, and it was a political answer. So that next year, when you ask him about it, he can always say, I said white close cricket. I think it was Shea Hope at his political best. It was such a diplomatic answer when he was asked if he wants to play, if he wished to play test cricket again. He said, I'm certainly looking forward to playing some white close cricket. Let's hear it again.
I'm certainly looking forward to playing some white close cricket. If the opportunity arises again, I'll be happy to take it.
Okay. I know. Yeah, you know. So Chase is a great choice, said my friend Christopher Bristol. He will do good things for the West Indies. Well, we hope, Christopher Bristol, because we will be very happy if West Indies start winning test matches. And we have these discussions all the while, but I always encourage all of you, at the end of the day, we support the West Indies team, we support the captain, we support the coach. I always made a point that it is not the individual that I support. I support the position, and I support the West Indies team as a collective. I always made that point. So whosoever the coach is, I'm going to support them. Whosoever the captain is, I'm going to support him. And whosoever is that in that playing 11 or in that 15-man squad, and that playing 11 that takes the field, I'm going to support them, whosoever is in that playing 11. I will always have my opinion on who should play or who should not play. I will always have my opinion on who should be in the squad and who should not be in the squad. I will always have my opinion if the coach is doing a good job. The coaches are doing a good job. I will always have my opinion if the captain is doing a good job. But at the end of the day, I'm going to support the West Indies cricket team. So, Christopher Bristol, I really, really hope that they do well. They have a strange agenda, said Sheldon Smith. I really want to hear more from Sheldon Smith this morning, and I really want to hear what's the thought process of Da Silva not being made captain of the West Indies team in the first place after all the investment in him, and why he's left out of the A team. I really want to hear from Sheldon. I really want to hear. Sherwin said, I'm sorry, but Joshua's earned his spot as a captain and wicket keeper. Sherwin. Many persons think so. If Shea Hope makes a lot of runs in ODI series, he'll be in the test team. Sammy will want Hope in the test team. Travis Brathwaite, what Sammy wants and what Sammy gets is two different things. And let me answer. So, Travis Brathwaite, when is it that in Shea Hope ODI career, he has not been making a lot of runs? You do not average 50 in ODI cricket if you are not consistently making runs. I remember one day a gentleman tell me that Shea Hope average fell to 49 point something one time. That's his 50, man. You know, I just found it that time that the gentleman, I just think he was nitpicking. He's my good friend, but he was nitpicking. 49 plus average is still 50. You know, so Shea Hope has always been performing good in ODI cricket. So that doesn't mean that he will play Test cricket. Furthermore, in the series against Bangladesh, the T20 series, Sammy wanted Hope and Rutherford to be here, but they went and played in the BBL. So it's not always what Sammy wants he gets. Sammy wants Hope to captain the West Indies Test team, but Hope said no. One of the things when Sammy was appointed head coach for the Test team is that the big thing out there from his supporters was, oh, he was appointed head coach because Kohli can't get the white ball players to play Test cricket. Sammy can't get them either. So, you know, so that was nonsense. You know, that was one of the big things by supporters. Kohli can't get them to play, but Sammy can use his influence to get them to play. Let's see. Let's see. Carlton, we are returning to Bajan invasions. I don't want to really put it that way, but a lot of persons have been making the point. And as I said, I put it out there. I never look at it. I never thought of it. I don't have any opinion on it. But it has been making the round that the last 3 West Indies Test captains have all been Bajans. And it is making the round that the women captain is a Bajan, the ODI captain is a Bajan, and the Test captain is a Bajan. The T20 captain is a Bajan. So those are the things that are making the round. I put it out there for whatsoever it means, but let it start the discussion. Let it start the discussion. You know, so it's very interesting. Sheldon said, Josh was just born in the wrong location, said Sheldon. You know, very interesting that there's a release, and I don't know if it was Roston Chase who said it or the person who wrote the article. You know, and that person who wrote the article, I don't have much, well, I was going to say much. I don't really have any respect for the person who wrote the article because, and at the press conference this morning, I never asked any question. That the press conference is with Hope because CWI media officer at the press conference, I didn't want him to say that the question that I asked, he was the one who asked it because it's something that he had done already. I asked a question and then he told his friend on radio that it was he who asked the question. You know, so it was something that he has done already. So I never want to ask any question. When I saw that he was the West Indies media officer in charge, I never wanted to ask any question because I don't want him to steal my question and to say that he was the one who asked it. So he wrote an article about Roston Chase. I did not read the article, so I don't know if that was his headline or Roston Chase said it. But the headline said, "Born to lead, not to follow." Born to lead, not to follow. I hope it is the headline, and I hope that is not the perception of Roston Chase, because a good leader, you heard, also follows. A good leader also follows. He knows when to lead, and he knows when to let someone else takes the lead. He knows when to lead, you know? So I hope it was not so. If Hope wanted to play Test cricket, he would have accepted the Test captaincy and just played. Good point there, Mr. Casanova. Very, very good point. Sure, we have zero issue with Chase in one-day cricket. If Hope was named Test captain, I would be more upset than Chase. Hope is not a Test player. Well, I believe so too. I don't believe he's a Test player. Thoughts on Jeremiah and not being in any of the 80 matches? Jay said, never thought about it. Jeremiah, I think the Jeremiah situation is really a 50-50. If he was picked, I wouldn't have an issue with it. The fact that he has not been picked, I do not have an issue with it, Jay. I just think it was one of those 50-50 positions. Hope is thinking about his pocket. Committing to the captaincy in all 3 formats will limit his ability to turn down selection to T20 leagues whenever he wishes. That's a good point. That's a fair That's a fair, good point, Travis Brathwaite. So Richard Eastman is talking to Keith, but their opinions is not on merit. Jay saying, but their appointment is not on merit. Yeah. That's a challenge that persons have with Chase appointment, you know, man. That they don't see him as somebody who's commanding his place in the West Indies team. And so the rhetoric, So Ailey Matthews and Sheikh Hope are both world class, and the verdict is out on Chase. So ease up. Richard Eastman, you're coming across in the wrong tone. Wrong tone. And there's no need to come across in that tone. I was saying that's a conversation that was out there. And secondly, Richard Eastman, I am from Jamaica, where there's freedom of expression. Persons are allowed to express themselves. So don't tell me to ease up. If that's the situation in the country where you live, in Jamaica, persons are allowed to express themselves. And I wasn't disrespectful. I said that's what is out there. That's what is being said. Is it a fact? Is it a fact, Richard Eastman, that all the West Indies test captain for the past 10 years are from Barbados? Is it a fact that the woman captain is from Barbados? Is it a fact that the white ball captain is from Barbados? Is it a fact that the test captain is from Barbados? Don't tell me to ease up to state the fact. And I did say it's a conversation out there. So why this tone? There's freedom of expression in my country. And I was not being disrespectful, Richard Eastman. There's no need for that comment telling me about to ease up. What, it sting you? But if it sting your boss, can't help it. I never meant for it to be. Osmoti will suffer due to Chase and Warrican, said Juna Benjamin. Well, I was pointing it out that Warrican is really the number one left-arm spinner in the team. Because if you take away, and you can't take it away, and I shouldn't use if, but Warrican has been out bowling Burakesh Moti. Whenever they played in any form of cricket, whether CG Super 50, whether first class cricket, or whether test cricket, whenever they play, Warrican always outbowled Moti. That's a fact. Moti, that's a fact. You know? So Moti was always ahead of him. One of the questions that I wanted to ask Chase yesterday, although he did say that he sees himself more as a batter than a bowler. That's what he said. One of the questions that I wanted to ask him was, does he see himself batting in the top 6? Or does he see himself playing more as a bowler? You know, but I never asked him. Ravindra Suku is saying, Sinclair is an ordinary cricketer. Just bowl fast and straight. He can bat a bit. But Ravindra Suku, do you remember the leg spinner from, well, I should put leg spinner in quotation mark, Anil Kumble from India? I've never seen him flight a ball yet, and I've never seen him turn a ball yet. And he got, I think, 500 or 600 on a test wicket. So I don't really, you know, that doesn't mean much to me. How can Moti, Warrican, and Chase all play, said Juna Benjamin? Well, because Chase probably bat at number 6, and then you play two seamer. It's going to be very interesting, Juna Benjamin. Very, very interesting. And you would have heard me said Juna Benjamin. Was it yesterday or was it Sunday that I said that I believe why Warrican was not given the captaincy was exactly that. They don't want to turn up on a seamer-friendly pitch and have to play Warrican when they wanted to play 4 fast bowler. So I think that mitigated against Warrican getting the captaincy. Moti will suffer more. Moti bowl better than Warrican in Pakistan. Ravindra Suku, that's not true. That's not compatible with the numbers. That's not in alignment with what happened in Pakistan. That's not true. I think you need to watch the cricket a little more. Ravindra Suku. Did Chase play for Sammy's CPL team? Very good point, Sheldon. Yes, he won the CPL. He won the CPL. Do you remember that blistering innings that Chase and Aaron Jones played to win the CPL for the St. Lucia Kings? Interesting, Sheldon, that you are now bridging the gap. I told you I wanted to hear more from you this morning. Very interesting. Very interesting, Sheldon. And you gave me something there, Sheldon, that I have to write down. Yes, I have to write it down. Very interesting, Sheldon. I told you I want to hear more from you this morning. Carlton, what is the status with Nkrumah Banner? Would love to see him versus Australia. It's not going to happen, Keith Aaron. Nkrumah Banner can't make even the Jamaica side at this time. You know. C. Dobra is making it hard for us to rally around West Indies, but we'll still rally. True, Atina. True. I don't understand why Carlos Brathwaite was never selected after 2019 World Cup. Never selected after 2019 World Cup. He was still 34 and is 36 now, but his performance has dropped off. Maxwell, I know that you're a fan of him, but his performance has dropped off. George Polydon said, Sammy said Hope didn't decline the captaincy. He declined being on the short list. That's what Sammy said. We listened to the interview. He never said that, George. Gregory Polydor. Who else heard that what Gregory Polydor is saying? Remember we played the clippings earlier. Sheldon, I don't agree with that one though. Royal Traveler, I have to speculate that there must be something unusual behind the scenes concerning Da Silva. Because if, as you suggest, he is in the test team, I think that he will be in the test team. Those are my opinions. I think he will be in the test squad. He would have been in one of the 8 teams for practice. And it's a very good point you're making, Royal Traveler. I think you're in England also. A very, very good point. And that's what causing the speculation, you know. Why is it that Da Silva not in any of the 8 teams? Is it that Darren Sammy doesn't see Da Silva as part of his plan? Very interesting. Yes. Carlton, I am 68. Born Trini. Nah, ease up. Hope Eastman respect my age and add value to the forum, said Keith Aaron. Okay. Who do you foresee being picked in CPL from the breakout league? Maxwell asked me tomorrow during the watch along. When I can think about it, I thank you for your question. I think it's a good question. Yes, and I will ask me about it. Can I know the playing 11 for the first ODI Ireland? And I have a playing 11. I put yesterday. I named my playing 11, and I definitely think that this will be the playing 11. I don't see any other playing 11 than this one tomorrow. So there is it. I can't see anyone else playing. I did a show yesterday. Shea Hope will captain, Casey Carty, Roston Chase, Matthew Ford. Those 5 that you see in the maroon color, those are the 5 special. Those are the 5 bowlers for me, the 5 specialist bowler. So it's Shea Hope, Casey Carty, Roston Chase, Matthew Ford, Justin Greaves, Amir Jangu, Alzaro Joseph, Brandon King, Evan Lewis, Gudakesh Moti, or Jaden Seals. Those are the 5 persons I expect to. Those are the 11 that I expect to play. Interestingly, though, yesterday in the press conference, Darren Sammy said Joel Anjo is hitting the ball sweetly and cleanly. Yes, Darren Sammy said that yesterday in the press conference. I just think I should interject that he said that Joel Anjo is hitting the ball sweetly and cleanly. You know, Jojo is saying, Anel Combe once said the ball only has to deviate 1 inch to get the edge. Yes, Jojo. And yes, Atina is saying, yes, please slash a like on the video. Click on that subscribe button. I really appreciate your company this morning. I've uploaded a number of clippings from the Shea Hope interview this morning. They are on the home page in the video section. Just click on the video section and you will see about 4 clippings of what Shea Hope had to say this morning. You can upload those. You can view those. Thank you for being here. And remember, it's going to be very early tomorrow morning, just about 5 o'clock Jamaica time, 6 o'clock in the Eastern Caribbean. Until then, see you. Take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and have a wonderful day.